I'm going to give you an in-depth example of how sickness and health work. When you combine together in sickness and health the male and the female aspect of divinity, you take upon the kindness, the nurturing side of a mother, and you take upon the assertive and effective and causal nature of father, like going further, going forth. Mother and father are both terms. They're not male or feminine. So at this point, we go into stuff like bread. Think of bread, okay? Think of something as simple as bread. Bread and water. Why do you think we talk about bread and water in the Bible? Bread doesn't mean bread. It means anything that is bread, anything that is alive, anything. All the fruits, they're not saying the fruits of a living, walking animal. They're saying the fruits of the trees, the fruits of the plants, the fruits of the fungus, because they're the lower levels moving up to this level to live. The cows are on our level. We're not supposed to eat them. The chickens, the bugs, the flies, the fleas, everything. We're not supposed to kill them. We are not. I don't care what people think. I know, because that's how it is. I made the rule, and I understand it as a being and a non-being. So I know that is like very blunt and very, assertive, but also there's nurturing, because this is what happens. Using, for an example, the bread and let's say a sweat tent, or the idea of working out, okay? Why do people think you get colds from being cold? No, you don't. When you have bread sitting out and there's mold on the bread, mold grows quicker in the heat. So if you have bad things in your body and you're in heat, those things are going to mold quicker. If you have good things in your body and you're eating healthy, thinking healthy, having enough movement, having enough activity, it's going to take time, even if it's bad. So you're going to be like, well, I didn't get sick that quick. No, you don't get sick that quick. You're bigger than a piece of bread. You have a lot more stuff to go through. But the sweat tent is hot because you don't eat for that period of time to sweat out your toxins. Your toxins are basically those molds. Those molds burst and break down into stuff, and it's flushed out of your system through the water, the clean water, not the sticky, gooey, nasty stuff. You can use teas. You can use straight coffee beans. You can use black coffee. You can't use sugar. You can't use milk. They bind. When they bind together in your body. And when they bind together in your body, let's say if you want to do the same kind of idea as a sweat tent now, but it was ice cold outside, and you go outside in the ice cold, your mind can overcome a lot of ailments. Your mind can overcome a lot of things. But the thoughts that come to your head when you're cold are those things that are dying because they're mold. They're the bad molds. They're bacterias. And those bacterias are dying because it's cold. When you have good bacteria that don't die in the cold, you don't get cold as easy at all. If your mind is pure, you don't get cold. Your skin may notice it because your mind thinks it's cold outside. It should be cold. And then when your mind goes, well, you know better, you can turn the feeling of cold off. When you're hot, things melt. Skin melts. But when your mind is to the extreme period of light, you can last in fire longer, last in hotter temperatures. I was the fire walker. I know. I used to walk through 3,000 degree heat with a little tin suit on, like a baked potato wrapped in foil. I used to do it, and people used to call me the fire walker in my life. Danimal, the fire walker. That's what they would say. That sounds like a spiritual thing, and guess what? It is. Other people couldn't even get near it, and they'd say, oh man, it burns my face. And I myself would sweat so much that my sweat would boil and burn my skin. And that was only because part of me inside didn't believe that I could die from burning. But then my outside was like, this is hot, and everyone else says it's hot. And so my brain would receive that through such a minuscule wavelength of heat burns people that was so stuck in my head since I was born that it's still here in my body. And I can't just put my hand on a flame. I don't want to master my mind and put my hand over a flame so that I can not feel it. That's dumb, because skin still has reactionary stuff. It still does that. And I'm not going to sit and train my cells to be immune to fire. People can do that. People have done that. I've done that, but not in this body. So with the idea of the bread and the mold, okay, when you're eating stuff that has those kind of things in it that can mold, it's no different inside your body than outside your body. You just can't see it. So if you have a loaf of bread sitting on your shelf for like 5 days and it gets moldy, if you ate it 4 days from now, you're going to have mold in your body. Unless you move around, you have good bowel movements, you drink good water, and you sweat out the toxins. If you don't put any toxins in your body, you may be sweating out the healthy things. So it's not just about being so in shape that you just work out. You will get to a point where you don't have anything else to put on unless you eat more. And then by trying to make sure you eat more, you're putting on a lot of weight and mass, and you have the potential to develop all this kind of stuff in different areas of your body, in your arms, in your legs, in your everywhere, because you're circulating it through the sweat. Your skin, your heart pumps more, so the blood's going through your skin underneath there in the veins, and it's dropping off little particles of mold, little spores, little everything through the water in your veins. Just like the water in our streams and our creeks and our rivers run, they have little pieces of stuff. And if you scooped a little bit of that water out and dropped it on your bread on the counter, watch how many days it takes for it to mold. That same thing happens in your body. So when you're hot in a sweat tent, you're trying to sweat out your toxins by fasting and getting rid of those things. When you fast inside like a cold tent or in a cold thing, your body is holding on and freezing those things. So some things that die in cold will go. Some things that live in heat will live. And if you are pure, you'll overthink the cold and your body will still purify. I know. I've done the hot tent. I've done the cold tent. I'm doing it right now. But at the same time, I'm doing both right now. As every Native American in a hot tent, as every person that's doing ice methods and ice baths and polar dives and Wim Hof and all these different breathing methods, and I made those up. And I made the people that would do them. Wim Hof, Windhuff. What do you think? Not something I planned on doing, but it's pretty amazing when I see it in living motion. It's awesome. It's so awesome. You're so awesome. And I'm not sick in the head. I'm totally healed in the soul. And now the things that I'm telling you are the things that actually can heal your body. And when you heal your body, those things will actually help you do what I'm telling you, and they will heal your soul. It's that simple. It just takes time, and it takes your dedication. Mine is here. Now are you ready to let me help you?